Hello everyone, and this is WanderGIRI, your host for today's video, and you're watching WanderGIRI channel. And this video is slightly gonna be off track, not slightly, but it's somewhat of the same meaning rather than being totally directly, attached to the immigration and international study and everything. So please stay tuned, watch this video, and hope you get something out of it. So let's start the video.
Everybody get your fucking hands up.
So in this video, we are going to be talking about how important is English language as a professional language, as a tool to enhance your career development, and how it is a friend to you in your journey of an international student or as an international student. So there was a grammar mistake there. So that's pretty much it. This is something which we'll be talking about in this video. So I've divided the video in three particular categories. The first one is how English is distinguished as a professional language, why it is the only language which holds that much importance rather than other languages. The second, how will it help you to boost your career development or whatever career you're sorting, how can it help in that? Or how can it help you as an international student? And finally, what ways, is there any way or what kind of ways can you use to improve your English from the point you're watching this video? So stay tuned and let's get on with the first question. So English is a language as Hindi, Telugu, Tamil, Gujarati, Marathi, whatever it is. So all of these are language. Now the variety of people that speak English language is more than any other language. The highest speaking language in the world is Chinese, second is English, but every Chinese know at least somewhat of English. Every Hindi guy or every Indian know at least like most of the people know somewhat tolerable amount of English. Why is it so? Because in our day-to-day life there needs to be a standard, and that standard was set by English language. And many when I talk about this topic, a lot of people ask me like, yeah, we are from India and Hindi is our national language, it's my mother tongue. So someone says like Marathi is my mother tongue or Gujarati is my mother tongue, so why should we be ashamed of accepting the fact that that is our professional language, mother tongue, and everything should be done in those languages as well, like only in those languages? So my clear answer to that particular question has always been the same. See, I am never ashamed of my mother tongue, first of all. And by that I means that English is a language which meets certain criteria to fulfill some demands in some sectors. That means it's a language that is required. It's a language that is only for professional use or something that is sort of a necessity to me nowadays or in the coming years. As far as my mother tongue is concerned, it's an emotion, and emotion cannot be distinguished. Emotions cannot be it's a different feeling. So if you're conversing with someone in your mother tongue, that's a different feeling, and if you're conversing the same conversation with in English, that's a different feeling. So the feeling of that emotion in your mother tongue would always be different. So I'm not ashamed of speaking my mother tongue. It's just that it's a necessity nowadays to learn English, to do well in English. So this brings us to a second question. The second question being, how can it help you in your career or as an international student? See, I have talked to a lot of people about this, and even my own career experience has been the same. Like, if you are good at English, and let's just say, let's perforate this with an example. Let's just say there are three people, three guys, three girls, whatsoever you like, and all of them have the same academic level of understanding. So let's just say if they are engineers, all three of them are engineers, and they more or less scored same and something like, so the academic levels is the same. The only difference among all three of them is that one is a very shy person The second has good communication skills but not English. And the third has English as well as good communication skills. Now, what is the difference between all these three candidates who went for an interview to get a job? Given that their academic standing is the same, who would you prefer? The guy with good English and the communication skill? That's an obvious answer if you are thinking logically and if it's for your company. So if you just want to argue, you can say anything. But yeah, that's the fact that we all know it's true. Now, why so? Because at the moment everything is expanding. The business are expanding to through internet, like they are going overseas. You could you have to talk with a lot of clients, even if you are in manufacturing industry, so there are audits and everything. So if you know English, giving a simple example of mine as well, that there's this guy who came from Japan. Precisely, he was a Japanese, but he lived in Korea. So there is this industry called Yokohama something, I don't remember exactly the name, but Yosung, it was Yosung. And they had this order which was to be given to our in the company which I am working. So there was an audit by that person to see if our quality standards meet the same, something like that. There they have a list of things, and if that particular criteria is met or not. So this was the thing which he came and wanted to check. Now the most important barrier was English. So a handful of people in my company can speak English, can converse well in English, and have a skill set to make the guy understand like this process is being carried out in this particular way. So it was not me who explained, because I have joined like I it was like 6 or 7 months maybe. I just have a very small duration, so I don't know what sort of things are going on in the company at the moment, like what is to be presented and what is to be not. So if you get it what I'm telling. So a senior of mine who is beginner, I would say, not even intermediate in English, so he handled it well and received somewhat praise from the other people, because they knew, even if there are managers who knew a lot of things practically, theoretically, but if they are not able to make the guy understand it well, it's of no use. So that's how the things happen in any field. I would tell you, like any field you take, if you have an English advantage, it would be a very great advantage. Speaking about the international standpoint, and as an international student, how would English actually help you? So English would help you in ways you couldn't even imagine. So I have seniors who have been there, who have been to Canada, and I speak with them, I chat with them on a regular basis. So what they tell me is that if you have good communication, so it's a given thing that you know English. Given that you're not going to Quebec, English would be a standard language anywhere in Canada, or even US has English as a standard language. But Canada has French in Quebec province, and other places are more or less English. So I asked them, how would communication skill actually matter in my course? How would that be? Because I will be living there for 2 years, and if I don't know that good an English, if I don't have that big a communication skill, I could learn that in 2 years. That's that's something like, that's an assumption that you would, but most of the people do. But during that, so what they tell me is that during that 2 years of study, or 1.5 years of your study or your curriculum or your course or your program, what happens is, so there are a lot of people from a lot of parts of the world who will be teaching you. So professors will be from China, Japan, I would say Canadians, American, Tanzania, Africans. So it's a huge mixture of all these kind of personalities who come from different countries, and they would be teaching you. So the only thing common between you and them is English. They don't know Hindi, they don't know Marathi, they don't know Telugu, they don't know Tamil. All they know is English, and if you don't have command on your language, that means on your English, the problem arises is that you cannot get your doubts sorted. You have to rely on others to get your doubts sorted. If you want to do something, if you want to know something out of the scope, out of the syllabus, out of the chapters, There is, if you don't have good enough communication skill, the professor won't understand, you won't be able to make him understand, and then everything goes down drain. So from an academic standpoint, you need this to get your co-ops. It's very important that your communication skill are a bust. I mean, like, you need excellent communication skill to land on a co-op. Given that there are some universities which are at remote places, so you could get co-op quite easily, but not that easily, of course. Still, you would need a certain degree of communication skill and a good English. That's a given. In Quebec, you would need French as well. So this is how it will affect your the phase in which you are learning, which you thought that you would be getting good at English. So if you are going to some college, or if a degree is not that, I would say, rewarding at the end, maybe you won't find any difficulty. So if you ask someone who has never been in that sort of competitive atmosphere, they would be giving you the answer like, yeah, it's fine, everything is manageable. But that's not always the case. Let's just say yours is a competitive atmosphere, so it won't be easy for you to suffice in that. So this particular scenario, or all these things, takes us to the third question: how can I improve my English? See, for me, English has always been a natural thing, because the school which the place where I had my school, it was an English medium school, but still 90% of people don't speak in English in my class as well. Given that I always loved debating, elocution and everything, that's why English has come a bit naturally to me. But I have seen a lot of friends. So in Gujarat, what happens is there are a lot of students who come from Gujarati mediums, and then they directly have to learn in English in engineering. So it's a difficult transition. But there are a lot of my friends who excel in English, man. They took English as a challenge, and they literally break every bone of English, and they really got like, there was this point where people started watching GOT, that Gujarati medium guy who has never studied English in a comprehensive manner, and that guy started watching GOT in English without subtitles. So that sort of change you need, that sort of attitude you need to learn a language. I have learned German as well. So it's the same thing with German also. If you are focused into your language, you would learn the language, and that's a given thing. Uh, I also wanted to make a video about French, because I've been learning French on my own, a little by little, but yeah, it's still not that big a content. But for English, I can say for sure that if you give 1 or 2 hours a day, not sitting and learning, but just doing something that you enjoy. If you like, if you want to increase your vocabulary, that's a very good trick which I always follow even now. If I want to increase my vocabulary, so there are two ways to do that. First is something that everybody knows: read more, and you would get your vocabulary sorted. But that's not always the case. If you read a word and you don't know how to use it, that vocabulary is totally useless. So to actually use that particular word in a sentence, what you need is, whenever you're in a situation where you are not getting a correct word and you change your sentence, so at that particular moment, search the word. Like, what would be a word which would be fit in this situation? And if you're writing something and then some words are repeating again and again, so search it out. Like, what is a replacement for this particular word which could be helpful to me in near future? And that's how you increase your vocabulary. That is the sole purpose. Like, it's very easy, man. It's really very easy if you think like this. But if you think like, I have to read 50 words and then I'll be using those 50 words in my sentences, it's really, really difficult. I have done that, trust me. It's not worth it. And if you want to, learn sort of English starting from the very basics, so firstly, I think every one of us Indians have the basic grammar already sorted out. Because Hindi and every other language in India has far more syllabi, far more grammar than any other language ever in the world. So what happens is, if you feel like your sentence is incorrect in English, trust me, it would always be incorrect. If you think that this grammar is not suitable for this particular sentence, it won't. So it's a given thing, and a lot of teachers of mine also say the same thing. Like, if you think your sentence is not working, it's never gonna work. And if you think like this is a perfect fit, it will always be a perfect fit. Now, how to get to the point where you could understand that this particular language is not for me or is not suitable? So all you need to do is, see, this is something which I have been doing over a lot of time. So I watch animes, I watch TV shows and everything. So I make sure I do not watch that using subtitles. That is, so for animes, I will of course need subtitles, but for English shows, news channels, or anything that I'm watching, I don't need subtitles. That is something I have always kept in my mind. If I don't understand something, I'll be listening it 4, 5, 6 times, and then until the time I am not, so there is two possibilities. Either I would be totally not understanding the sentence at that point of time, I'd be looking at the subtitles because of the intonation and speech. But most of the time, 99% of the time, if you listen it for 2, 3 times, you would get what the person is trying to say. So you have to build this particular attitude over the period of years, and then slowly and gradually you'd be gaining the experience of learning something. And to test it out, never think that if you have reading, if you are listening, if you are watching TV shows, that would automatically increase your English, or that would make you more proficient in English. That's not the case. What you need to do is, if you're shy, make sure that you sit in front of a mirror and talk to yourself. Maybe take out a print of some sort of general interview questions and answer those. Literally answer those questions. Don't think that if you're doing this in your head, that would work. It will not work, because in head you would sound totally different, and when you were speaking, you would omit a lot of words. So until the time you cannot joke in English, don't think that you have learned the English. And still, I have done a few stand-ups, like not few, just 2 stand-ups. One was in English and one was in Hindi. So I did manage to get few laughs in English and managed to get a lot of laughs in Hindi stand-up. But that's the point. Like, if you can joke, if you're confident enough to joke in the language, you know the language. That's the bottom line of any language. So hopefully you like this video. This video would be a bit long. It's 15-16 minutes video. So enjoy it, and do comment me something like if you want to see next video about. Most probably I'll be making a video on the current updates, if there are any, and how to fill and everything, biometrics letter and IMM6 wave form, something like that. I'll be making something, or maybe something off track. I have not yet decided. But this was the video I have been thinking to make for a lot of, I have been pretty much thinking of making this video from a long time. A long time means maybe a year or maybe a year and a half, something like that. So finally I made this video. Hopefully you like it. Do like, share, subscribe, man. It's been really wonderful. I have at least crossed the 100 subscriber mark, and that's really make me happy. So hopefully you like it, and see ya guys.